So let's talk a little bit about practice and learning. And for a long time, it's kind of just been referred to as practice. So if you go to the practice range or the driving range, you're going to go practice. Well, if we kind of define it, really, practice is just enhancing a skill that you already possess. So in one case, that would be absolutely fine. So for example, if you wanted to go work on the pace of your putting, you would be practicing that skill. Now, on the other hand, if you're actually trying to change a pattern in your golf swing, then that falls more into the learning variety. And whichever one of those spectrums you're going to be in, that's really going to dictate what you do when you come to the range or come to the golf course. And that's really important to distinguish before you even enter this kind of learning or practice sphere, is what am I actually trying to achieve here? So, for example, as I said, if you're working on your putting and your speed of your putting, and you know for a certain aspect that the fundamentals are pretty sound, you like what you're doing in your technical, in your stroke, you just need to develop more of a skill of speed, then you would work speed drill. So you're really developing that skill. Now, if on the other hand you went and wanted to work on something specific in your golf swing, so let's say, for example, when I go in transition, that I pull down on the handle of the golf club, and when I do that, that club gets a little bit steep. So I'm trying to work on a certain move, a certain pattern, a certain real physical movement, and change it. Now, chances are I probably haven't done the pattern that I'm working on before in my life with a golf club in my hand, so I need to learn this. And it's a very, again, really important distinction to make. So if I'm gonna go work on the skill side of things with the speed and the putting, I'm gonna create little games, little tests. If I'm gonna work on a different pattern, I need to create an association. But first off, I need to start from a very small, very slow motion pattern. And I always use this phrase to players that I'm working with. I'm like, okay, well, when you learn to drive a car, what speed did you learn at? Very few of us learn going 90 miles an hour. For me, I learned going 0 miles an hour and how to change the gears firstly, driving stick coming from where I came from. So it's the same principle, right? We'll probably get somewhere quicker sometimes the slower we go. So if we take this nice and slow and really create and learn the pattern that we're chasing in this sphere, in the learning kind of department, we might get there a little bit quicker. So it's really important in terms of, and I'm going to use practice because that's the phrase that everybody uses, in terms of practice, which means coming to the range to work on your game. Really departmentalize what you want to do. Are you developing a skill that you already possess and you just want to get better at it? Or are you actually trying to learn something? If you're trying to learn something, it's a very different process than the skill development. So again, the learning is going to be much more of a slower, kind of more block practice, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, but more that realm where I'd be really standing over golf shots and really kind of go up to the top, nice and slow. Okay, what do I want to feel? I want to feel this. Okay, how can I incorporate that feeling into a slow motion swing to learn it? Really important to learn that move. I'm not testing how well I can do it right now under pressure. I'm just trying to learn it. So when you go to the range, really clearly define what you want to do before you set foot on that range area. Do you want to practice a skill you already possess, or do you want to learn something new? If you want to learn something new, it looks very different than practicing the skill set. We're going to talk about that in another video later on.